Welcome to Nall or Nuthin on the road, coming to you live from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the view from the 35th floor. You can see Treasure Island. You can see Trump's Tower. And we are in the epicenter at the Palazzo Hotel right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, coming to you for our special NCAA March Madness preview show. All right, so we are remote, which means, hey, we're doing the best we can with our technology to give you a little look of the strip. But it's been a long day. Big Daddy C joins me this week. We told you we were coming to you from the Mecca, and here we are. He just flew in. How was your flight?
Oh, well, that first flight wasn't too bad. Before I got on that first one, I kind of took me a little pill to relax me. So the first one wasn't too bad. By the time I got on the second one, it had worn off. And I was sitting on the plane, and I looked down at the pamphlets, and I see, I'm on that 737 MAX. I'm thinking this could be bad luck. You know, that's the one that had the few crashes, and they set out for a year or so. But anyway, it got me here. But while I was sitting in the back waiting, there was one last person that came on, and he was a big, huge plowboy. You know what a plowboy is, right?
Not really.
Well, that's back in the days when, the horses used to pull the plows, and when the horses got tired, they hooked it up to this guy. He's big as a giant, he's a plowboy. Just a big, huge guy. His arms are the size of my legs, and his legs are the size of a 30-year-old oak tree. I mean, he's just 450 pounds. He's a giant. And I'm sitting there seeing him come down the aisle. I say, whoever that guy sits next to is one unlucky son of a gun. Well, guess who he came and sat next to? You got it right next to me. I couldn't even breathe for 2 hours. I was...
With that mask on, right?
Oh, with the mask on, and he was just half my seat. It was just the worst flight I've been on. It was just a disaster.
Well, you're here.
I'm here now, though.
And we are coming to you about midnight, Las Vegas time. Just turned the clock over on Thursday morning. We're taping our show here from the Palazzo Hotel, 35th floor, in our suite. Actually, he has his own suite. I also have a suite. In my suite.
And by the way, they are very nice. The Palazzo is a very nice hotel.
Very nice view. I didn't do a very good job with the camera work there trying to start the show, but if I could have, you would have clearly seen the Mirage, Treasure Island, Trump's Hotel, seen it all right here on the Strip. But the Strip is coming back to life. I've been here over 24 hours now, came in on Tuesday. Lots of activity. Feels like Vegas, except for everybody's in a mask. The mask stuff is a little rough, but it's there. And so when you take a drink, you take your mask down, you take a drink, you put it back up. So in between drinks on the casino floor, you have to put the mask up, and they're watching to make sure that everybody's doing that. And then they have temperature sensors, so they're not taking your temperature with the handheld device when you walk in. They've got technology set up and people monitoring it at all the entrances to the casino, taking temperatures to make sure that no one has temperature. So they're doing the best they can, and it looks like they're using technology to try to keep us all safe and let us have a good time.
Yeah, I noticed when I came in that the craps tables, the blackjack tables, all had big, huge plexiglass kind of boxes that you sit in. And I was thinking about that. I saw a picture, Trevor, what's his name, Trevor?
Lawrence?
Trevor from Clemson, the quarterback. Trevor
Lawrence.
Yeah, he's out here, and I saw the picture on the TV yesterday, and he was
Trevor
playing.
Lawrence is out here?
Yeah, he's out here. He's getting married, and this is his bachelor party out here. And
Holy cow.
yeah, he's out here, and I saw the picture, and I knew they had the plexiglass, and I was thinking, oh, it's going to be awful. How can a man even play craps? But then once I got out here and saw it and thought about it, I always get that guy beside me at the craps table that's just crushing me and just horning in on me and just rubbing on me and blowing smoke in my face. So I think I'm going to be all right with it. I think I'm going to like that.
So, haven't been here today. I've kind of got the lay of the land with the Palazzo Casino and then their sister hotel and casino, the Venetian, right next door. So the sports book is in the Venetian, and it's operated and run by William Hill. And so William Hill Sportsbook here on our property, well, it turns out that William Hill has just now, and within the last, I don't know, 2 months, got in their Tennessee license. So now William Hill app is one of the legal avenues of betting in Tennessee. So when I get back home, I'm going to add that one to our repertoire. So we'll have DraftKings, DraftKings,
FanDuel.
FanDuel, MGM, and now William Hill as legal apps that you can place bets on within the state of Tennessee. Now, I couldn't open a William Hill account up in Tennessee because you have to be in the geofence of Tennessee on your phone for it to be able to bet and open an account. But what I did was I opened an account in Nevada with William Hill, so now I can use my phone and be anywhere in the state of Nevada and place a bet. I can just go down there at the end of our trip, cash out anything I want to at the casino if I have some winnings or if I have anything left.
Yeah, just save you time from standing in that line, and if they're about to tip and there's 5 people in line, you don't have to worry about that. You just push the button on your phone. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, so that's where we are. So I'm set up with the account. I funded the account here in Nevada with William Hill, and we're ready to go. Tomorrow we got the 4 play-in games on Thursday: Norfolk State, Appalachian State, Wichita State, Drake, Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern, and Michigan State and UCLA. So Michigan State and UCLA, perennial powerhouses, blue bloods, are in a play-in game to make the field of 64. Michigan State is a 2-point favorite. I like UCLA.
Well, looks like we're gonna have a lot of opposite picks. Because I think I'm gonna take Michigan State in that one. Maybe me and you just need to sit beside each other and just trade our money between us. Because I'm gonna be pulling for Michigan State, and I'm gonna have my money on them.
So here's an interesting fact about Michigan State: 15-12, disappointing season. Just one of the last teams in the tournament, but in those 15 wins, they have beat Michigan, they have beat Ohio State, and they have beat Illinois.
Yeah.
So they got 3 big wins. So I don't know. They were probably right. They're probably the play, but I don't like them, and so I'm going to pull for UCLA in that one. But here we go. So everybody's got maybe a few more hours to work on your March Madness NCAA tournament bracket and hopefully win your pool. There's so many pools now. There's even pools with DraftKings where you can put in a bracket and pay to join that pool, and the best picks win money, lots of money. So me and Big Daddy C, we've got a bracket going over there in DraftKings pool. So we'll see how we do. So I'll give you my final 4 for my bracket. I won't go through the whole thing, but I went with Gonzaga out of the West, Ohio State from the South, West Virginia, Midwest, there's an upset, and Alabama in the East. And then at Big Daddy C, you're the blue numbers here. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to beat a lot of those big favorites by the time they get to the Final Four. I went with Iowa, Alabama, Illinois, and Purdue. So I do have one of the number 1 seeds getting there, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So I'm gonna try to beat those Charles Barkley chalk plays in Gonzaga and Baylor, and I'm gonna take something with a little meat on it.
I hear you. I think they would really have to stumble and not be as good as people think. They've got the easiest path of any of the number 1 seeds, in my opinion. So let's just start out in the West. Gonzaga, they don't know who they'll play yet. They'll play the winner of Norfolk State and Appalachian State, and they play on their opening round game on Saturday. Oklahoma and Missouri, that game is Oklahoma's a 1-point favorite. That's going to be a dogfight, 8 and 9 seed matchup. Missouri, kind of like Michigan State, they've got some huge wins and some really disappointing losses. Any opinion there in that one?
To me, that's just a toss-up. I don't think I'll play that one. If I did, I maybe just go with the SEC team, but I don't really have much of an opinion there. And if that one went either way, it wouldn't be a surprise. Those 8-9s to me are always the toughest. They can go either way.
So Creighton, the 5 seed, plays the 12 seed UC Santa Barbara on Saturday. Creighton, a 7-point favorite. I like UC Santa Barbara. They're a fun team to watch. They're 22-4 on the season. I followed them through their conference tournament. They won that conference tournament. That's how they got in the tournament. They're a high-scoring team, and I think they're going to give Creighton fits. Creighton just didn't look right down the stretch in the season after the coach had that short 1 or 2 game suspension for telling his players that he didn't want anyone to leave the plantation in the locker room, and the players didn't take that Right, as well they shouldn't have, and so the school suspended him for 2 games. He's back now, but the team is just they lost to Georgetown, and Georgetown made that big run in the Big East tournament. I don't think they're right. There's an upset I like, UC Santa Barbara.
Well, I like Creighton. I picked them to move forward in my brackets. Will they cover the 7? I'm not so sure about that. I'm going to take Creighton to win the first one, but I'm not going to take them any further than that. I think they win. Not sure if they cover, but I'll take them one time and try.
Give me the Gauchos, UC Santa Barbara. Virginia laying 7 against Ohio. Virginia, their ACC tournament stopped short due to failing COVID tests, which really allowed Georgia Tech to move into the championship game without having to play that semifinal game against Virginia. And on fresh legs, Georgia Tech was able to win the ACC championship. Virginia now, off of a short COVID delay, laying 7. What do you think about them?
Yeah, this is one I'll play. I like Virginia. I like them to go a little ways in the tournament. I'm going to take them to win at least 3 games, and I'm going to take them to cover this one. I'm going to take Virginia lay the 7, and I'm thinking they win probably 3 games.
All right, moving on down in the bracket in the West. Now, of course, all the games this year are played in the bubble in Indianapolis, so we're not looking at a situation where the West is really the West. West, I guess, is the west side of the gym in Indianapolis, but we'll just stay with our traditional geography here, as the brackets are still broke up into West, East, South, and Midwest. Gonzaga being the 1 seed from the West. USC will play the winner of Wichita State and Drake. I like USC to grab a win there. I don't know what the line will be. Obviously, could be 3 or 4 points. If it's anything under 3 or 4 points, I would lean toward USC to move forward. They've got one superstar on that team, and sometimes one superstar can put the rest of the team on his back.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you there. I like USC. I like Wichita State over Drake, but I'm going to go with USC. It doesn't matter which one they play. I'm going to take them in that game.
All right, so here's a 3 seed, 14 seed matchup. Kansas, another team that did not or was not able to complete their conference tournament due to COVID. They're come off of another short delay here, coming to the NCAA tournament without having finished their conference tournament. They're playing Eastern Washington, who won their conference. Eastern Washington has a 16-7 record. Somehow, mighty Kansas is only favored 10.5 points. To me, that looks fishy. What do you think?
Well, to me, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take Kansas and lay the 10.5, and
You're going to regret that one.
Better team.
You're going to regret that one at Big Daddy C1000.
So are you telling me you think Kansas gets upset, or you just they don't cover?
I think they have a chance to lose.
Wow.
Probably 25% chance to lose the game, and I don't think they cover. That line's fishy. Why we're going to be talking about lines here in a minute, 17, 18, 20, against teams that have much better records and much better wins in Eastern Washington. Why is that line so small? I don't know.
That might be a little money line for you if you like
Might
that.
be. Might take a flyer on that one. That'd be a flyer.
Little pizza money on that one.
And then another dog I like here, another dog, VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, 19-7 on the year, playing Oregon. Oregon having been ousted by Oregon State in the Pac-12 tournament. I thought Oregon played a horrible game in that game and just got absolutely boat raced by Oregon State, who they had beat by 20 earlier, or maybe a week before. Oregon's 5.5 point favorite. Take the points. Take VCU.
Well, I'm going to take the favorite, and I know that's usually not a good thing in these tournaments, but we've talked about this. The crowd ain't going to be there to help the underdog, so typically I like underdogs in this tournament. I always play them, but I think this year I'm going to ride a lot more of the favorites, and this will be another one. I will take the favorite here. I'm not going to take them very far because I was one of my top picks, so I'm going to take them for one game here, and I will be on this favorite.
All right. So you mentioned there, we had talked about this, and it's worth bringing up here on the air, is with the tournament being in a bubble, limited fans, if any. In fact, I'm not even sure if there are any fans and being allowed in. Do you know?
I don't know, but if there were, I would think it would maybe just be family and the coaches' kids or something like that. Yeah. I wouldn't think it's a big crowd.
I would agree. So different situation, you find that in these regionals, that the crowd is usually 90% behind the underdog. They want to see the upset. That's what the NCAA tournament's all about, and they rally behind that underdog, and the underdog sometimes can feed off that crowd. Well, that's not going to be the case here. So maybe the better team on paper is going to be the better team on the court with a really truly a neutral field. And then our last game of the West is Iowa facing Grand Canyon. I like Iowa to go a long way in this tournament. I even give them a puncher's chance to knock out Gonzaga if they get all the way to the finals of the Western the Western part of the bracket. But I'm gonna tell you this much: that Grand Canyon's good. I followed them last week in their conference tournament. They blew the doors off of everybody, including the championship game when they were a 7-point underdog. So I'm not going to bet against Iowa, but I'm certainly not going to bet on them either. I think Grand Canyon's got a chance to play them pretty close.
Well, I think tomorrow you're going to the Grand Canyon. Enjoy that, because the Grand Canyon versus Iowa is not going to be much of a matchup. Iowa is top notch. They're going to handily take care of the Grand Canyon. So enjoy your trip tomorrow, because you'll have no fun if you take them in that West game against Iowa.
So right after we get off the air here, I'm going to post this program on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Nall or Nuthin. And then, of course, we'll come to you. We'll air this on 101.3 The Buzz in Cleveland, Tennessee, tomorrow during drive time. And but tomorrow morning, I'm heading to the Grand Canyon, driving to the west rim of the Grand Canyon and taking a look at that big hole in the earth. And you didn't want to go.
Well, I could go look at a big hole in the earth, or I could be down at a craps table or betting a horse race. Which one? That made an easy decision for me.
So he's going to be down on the casino floor and in the sports book, which I was today. And I'm going to head to the Grand Canyon. Now, I did go to Top Golf tonight. Hit some pretty good shots. Actually, I was 3-0. We played 3 games. And I beat the other guy that was there with me. His name's Brandon. He's got some picks here in a minute I'm going to tell you about. But I beat him like a drum on the Top Golf course. I'm a little sore right now, a little tired. Been a long day. But you know what? We're just happy to be here in Vegas and happy to be coming to you from the Palazzo Hotel and looking forward to the weekend and the opening round of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. All right, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back, continue talking through the brackets. Nall or Nuthin is brought to you by Cleveland Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Nall or Nuthin is brought to you by pureisgood.com. Don't forget to follow at Big Daddy C1000 on Twitter. That's at Big Daddy C1000. So after the show airs, we'll try to post a few things this weekend and let you know what we're doing here in Sin City, in the Mecca, in Vegas. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with you right here in Vegas on the Strip at the Palazzo Hotel, 35th floor. Coming to you the night before the NCAA tournament begins. I'm your host, Jason Nall, and I'm joined by at Big Daddy C1000. Big Daddy, what do you think about this eastern side of the bracket? Michigan, the number 1 seed. How solid the number 1 seed is Michigan?
Well, am I right? Doesn't Michigan have 1 or 2 guys that's hurt, or one of their top guys that's maybe
they
hurt?
got a top guy that's out, could possibly come back in the later rounds if they advanced, but that would be it's still unknown if he could come back at all.
Well, this is another one. I'm not big on the 1 seeds, although I do think it is a favorite weekend, but I'm just going to try to take out the 1 seeds, especially in my brackets, because everybody has the 1 seeds. That's an easy pick. But I'm definitely going to take them in this first game, no matter who they play, either Texas Southern or Mount St. Mary's. But I got them going down to LSU, I believe, in my bracket, so I'm not going to take them very far.
All right, LSU, a spirited effort in the SEC Conference Tournament, was able to knock off the red-hot Razorbacks and almost beat Alabama in the championship game, they are a slight favorite, ever so slight, 1.5 point favorite in the 8-9 matchup against the Bonnies, St. Bonaventure. You like LSU?
Yeah, I like LSU. I mean, I just hope that they're a quality and a better team and pull it out.
No bet for me. I think it's a tough one. Colorado plays Georgetown. Georgetown off the miracle run in that Big East tournament to run the table, win the tournament, and get the automatic bid to the NCAA championship. Colorado, a disappointing championship game, got beat pretty easily, and I would say start to finish by Oregon State, who just had a monster Pac-12 tournament. Colorado, a 5.5 point favorite.
Well, you know how I like to play. The trend is your friend. Georgetown's hot. I'm going to take it. This is going to be one of my dog plays. This is going to be one of my lock dog plays of the week. I'm going to take Georgetown. I'm going to take those 5.5, and I'm going to be standing in the window cashing my ticket.
You hear that, William Hill? You better shut the windows down. He says he's got a hot one here. Take the Hoyas. Ride the passion. Patrick Ewing's Georgetown Hoyas getting the 5.5 points. Florida State, who lost a close one to Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. They're laying 11 against UNC Greensboro. Florida State has been a great tournament team the past few years.
Yes, I'm going to take them. I believe the same thing. They've been great in the tournament for the last few years, so I'm definitely taking them in this first one, and I'll lay the 11.
And then BYU, the 6th seed, they're going to have a whale of a matchup against whoever wins that play-in game. Michigan State and UCLA, the winner of that game will come into the tournament proper and be in the bracket as the 11th seed to face BYU. I'm taking BYU in my brackets to move forward. I think they can win that game. They've had a solid season. However, don't know what the line will be. Really can't prognosticate too much there. And then here's one of my favorites. God, I told you I didn't like any dogs this year. I love a dog here.
Yeah.
I love Abilene Christian grabbing the 9 against the mighty Texas Longhorns. The 3 seed Texas Longhorns coming off their first ever Pac-12 Conference Tournament Championship, laying 9 points to Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian has a top 10 Division One in all Division One top 10 defense, and they could not have a better matchup than to play the Texas Longhorns, the big star of their state. What an opportunity for Abilene Christian at 23-4 on the year. What do you think?
Well, I hope you're not right, because I took in a lot of my survivor brackets, I took Texas. I like Texas to win this first one. I don't like them to go very far, but I do like them to win the first one. Do you like maybe Texas to lose? Do you think Abilene can pull it out?
So there's a reason why I said you make your picks, I'll make mine, and Survivor we won't talk about it. And first, yeah, I think Abilene could beat them. I don't. I mean, will they? I don't know, but I think that I love them plus the 9. Top 10 defense in the country, and they're going to be extra fired up to play Texas. If there was a crowd, I would love them. I would love them even more, because that crowd would be behind them, and Texas is a 3-point shooting team, and they'd have that defense clamp down on them, and they wouldn't know what to do. I don't know. It's going to be a great game. Don't sleep on that one. The 3 versus 14, Texas over Abilene Christian, and I know you've taken Texas. They'll probably get the win, but take the 9 points.
Well, what we'll do is we'll hope Texas wins, but Abilene covers. I can root for that.
We'll hedge it a little bit. We'll go down to William Hill and get us a little hedge on Abilene Christian. UConn, they were the darling of the media going into the conference tournament. They got ousted by Georgetown like everybody else in the Big East. They were hot to finish the season. They come in as a 7 seed and a 3-point favorite over Maryland. Any opinion on that one?
I don't really have much of an opinion. If it helps, I took Maryland in my bracket, but don't really have a pick one way or the other in this one.
And then the 2 seed in the East on Saturday games, closing out our Saturday games, is the Alabama Crimson Tide playing Rick Pitino's Iona. No, not Rick Pitino's Kentucky. Rick Pitino's Louisville, Rick Pitino's Iona.
Yeah, third team he's taken, or is
Fifth.
it 4? Fifth.
Fifth. He's only one or two coaches take 5. Who else did he take? I can't remember. Providence. I don't know. But anyway, it's Rick Pitino. It don't matter who it is, because this guy named Brandon, this cat I was running with today while I was waiting for you to get here, the guy that I beat like a drum at Top Golf, he loves it. So that's his play of the tournament is Alabama laying 17.
Oh well, I know what my lock of the week is going to be. Iona. I'm going to take Alabama for the win, but I'm going to take Iona to cover.
Man, this cat told me, he said it could be Alabama's going to win this by 40. It's going to be like when they played Mississippi State a couple of days ago. He said they're going to lock it down. I said, what about Rick Pitino? He said, I don't care about Rick Pitino. They're going to blow the doors off of him.
Wow. Well, this might be my lock of the week. It's just Iona on the flip versus the Brandon.
Well, I have Alabama going all the way to the Final Four, as do you. So let's hope they cruise. And this guy, Brandon, is about right. Let's hope he's right. Alabama, big favorite, 17 points over Rick Pitino's Iona Club. We're going to take our second break, and then we will come over and we will work on the Friday games. That's right, the Friday games, the South and the Midwest region. You're listening to Nall or Nuthin on 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right. I'm your host, Jason Nall, joined by Big Daddy C, and we are at the Plaza Hotel getting ready for all the action of March Madness. What are you looking forward to about this week? What do you want to accomplish while you're here?
Well, I would just like to go home with some money. That would be a big achievement for me. I don't care if it's $10, $5, but the last time I was in Vegas, maybe it's been as long as 20 years. It's been a while, and every time I've left, I haven't had enough to buy a pack of crackers on the way home. So as long as I go home with $1 so I can buy a 99-cent McDonald's burger, I'll be happy. That's my goal.
Wait a minute. Didn't you have to ride home on a bus one time?
One time I took a bus from Vegas back to Memphis, took about 3 days on a Greyhound, 42 stops without a nickel in my pocket. I drank ice water from McDonald's. That's back when they would give you a cup of ice water for free.
So you don't even let me get this straight. You got on the bus with, nickels, right? Nothing.
I don't even think I had a nickel. I might have had a pack of crackers or something when I started that the food shelter gave me before I left town. But by the time I hit Abilene, Texas, I didn't have nothing. It was just McDonald's ice water.
When you started talking about wanting to leave with some money, I remembered that story from way back. So that had to be the most miserable 3 days of your life. Greyhound bus, nothing, just parched. You're trying to sleep the best you can.
Yeah. That was pretty brutal. I got some more, but that's in the top 10 definitely.
And then that bus crowd, they're rough. It's not quite like the plane crowd.
Not a real hygiene crowd always. Sometimes you got a little whiff of that and this, and it can be rough. It's a rough way to travel. But that was back in the days when I was young, and it was a little bit more acceptable. Airlines were a little bit more expensive back then, and
that's right. And so you just got on that Greyhound bus.
Way to go!
Hopes and dreams just shattered.
Came out here thinking I was going to be the next Jack Binion, and going home, and I was jacked out. I was crapped out. I was drinking ice water.
Well, let's hope it goes better. Let's hope we can get on a little bit of a streak, pick some of these games, and maybe walk out of here with enough money, to get a Happy Meal.
Happy Meal. That's what I'm thinking. Just as long as I can get a Happy Meal or something when my plane change, I got to wait 2 hours in Detroit. As long as I can go get a Happy Meal, $3.95 or whatever it costs, that's all I'm asking for.
All right. Well, I think you'll do it. I think one of us will walk out with Happy Meal money. So here we go. Back into the bracket. The number one seed from the South is the Baylor Bears, 22-2, having been ousted in the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament by Oklahoma State. They face Hartford. They're a big favorite, 26 points. What do you think? Lay all them points for the Bears?
I don't know. That's a lot of points. I'm telling you, I like Baylor to win. I like them to win 2 games, but 26 is a lot. I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion there.
So this next one, the 8 and 9 game on Friday, is between North Carolina, who kind of eked into the tournament. They did have a good ACC tournament and won enough games to get in before they were also out with COVID, and so North Carolina and Duke both leave the ACC tournament with COVID issues. Now they come back off a short break and they face the softest cheese of the Plains, Wisconsin. I think they are soft. I think they're terrible. I just think if anybody gives them a challenge, they lay down. I don't like this Wisconsin team. They did play a little feistier than I thought in the Big Ten tournament, but not feisty enough to really beat anybody of any consequence. Kind of a tough game to pick. North Carolina not having their best year, laying a point and a half, but I think they could beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're going to be on the same boat on that one. I like North Carolina also. I'll be betting that one, and I'll be laying that 1.5 and rooting for some Tar Heels.
So probably the most injured team in the tournament that has more weapons taken away that'll be on the sidelines and on the court. The Villanova Wildcats, 16-6 on the year. They got ousted by Georgetown before we realized that Georgetown was on a mission. They got ousted early by Georgetown in the Big East tournament. Winthrop, 23-1. A lot of folks like Winthrop to pull the upset here, to be the 12 that beats the 5. 12 seed beats the 5. It happens a lot. Villanova, a 6.5 point favorite. I think Villanova is not going very far, but I think they might say, hey, we can figure out how to win this game.
Well, I agree with you. I was at first on Winthrop, and then you kind of talked to me, and you told me a bunch of people were touting this Winthrop, and everybody on the radio says they're such a great team. And
they got the best record in the tournament, 23-1.
Yeah, and so I just said, well, I'm going to flip
Gonzaga, 26-0 Gonzaga. My apologies to Gonzaga. All hail Gonzaga.
And so when you told me that, everybody was touting them, I just said, well, that's a good enough reason to flip them.
Yeah.
So I will be taking Villanova, and I won't take them but more than that one time, that one win, but I will take them for that one.
Okay. Purdue faces North Texas. Purdue out of the Big Ten, solid conference, probably top to bottom, I would say the best conference. Had a great spirited conference tournament that I really enjoyed. Purdue, you've got them going a long way. So I'm assuming you think that they can take care of the 11 points in North Texas.
I think so. I'm going to be playing that one. That's another one I will have Purdue, yes.
6-11 matchup here. Texas Tech, who was tough and against Texas in the Big 12 tournament, had beat Texas twice earlier in the year in the regular season. Couldn't do it the third time. Was sent out of the Big 12 tournament by their in-state rival, Texas. They host Utah State, who was very scrappy the last part of the season. This is going to be a great game to watch. Texas Tech, 4.5.
Yeah, well, I'm taking Texas Tech, 4.5. It won't be a strong play, but I am going to take them. Wouldn't surprise me if Utah State got there, but I will be on Texas Tech in this one.
So here are my Hogs. My Hogs, the hot streak ended with LSU having a great second half and really shutting the Hogs down in the SEC tournament. They sent Arkansas out of the Final Four of the SEC tournament. They come in now at 22-6, a 3 seed, playing 14-1 Colgate, the 14 seed. I have not seen Colgate or any other Ivy League team play all year. I have 14-1. It doesn't seem like they played a full season. Arkansas is an 8.5 point favorite. I always get nervous when you play those Ivy League teams for some reason, but surely the Hogs can move on past Colgate. What do you think?
Yeah, and you know what's weird? I actually watched a little bit of that championship game last Sunday, Colgate, and they're all right. But yeah, she got to take the Hogs here. The Hogs could be a quality team. I could see them definitely in the Elite Eight. So I'm going to take the Razorbacks here, and I'll lay those points and hope the SEC is just a lot stronger than a Ivy League team.
William Hill has Florida and Virginia Tech at a pick'em. Florida has won their last 7 opening round NCAA tournament games. 7 opening round wins in a row. A pick'em here, Florida and Virginia Tech. Neither team played particularly well down the stretch this season. What do you think on that one?
Well, I'm going to go with my same thing I like to play a lot. The trend's your friend. They've won 7 in a row. I'm not breaking that. I'm taking them out of pick'em, and I'm going to take them to win 8 in a row, and I'm going to be standing in line ready to cash when the game's over.
Not me. I'm going to flip that one. I'm going to say it's time. This Florida team, it's due that they go out in the first round, and what better Florida team to do it than this 14-9 Gators bunch? Give me Virginia Tech in the pick'em. Ohio State, the 2 seed, faces Oral Roberts. They're a 16 point favorite. Any chance Oral Roberts can run with the Buckeyes?
Is there any chance it snows tomorrow here in Vegas? Probably not. So, no, I'm taking Ohio State. I'm not taking Ohio State very far, but I'll definitely be taking them against Oral Roberts.
So I did make my first bet with the William Hill Sportsbook here today, and I lost it. I bet a 2-game parlay, the Raptors money line and the Grizzlies money line. The Grizzlies got there. They won their game. They did their job. The Raptors, as a 5-point favorite, couldn't win outright. So I'm minus 300 with William Hill right now, and we got to get to work tomorrow.
Yeah, they struggled the other night, Toronto. I watched
Yeah.
a little of that game they played, and they were struggling.
They're struggling. They struggled into the All-Star break. It's about time to start wondering if they're even going to give much effort down the stretch because they've now fallen out of the playoff race in the East. But so a little NBA misery to start off the sportsbook activity with me here. But I'm looking forward to these college games getting going tomorrow. That's what we're here for, and hopefully we can pick some of these NCAA tournament games, starting with the 4 play-in games tomorrow. We've also got the NIT.
Yeah.
So we got the NIT that's going on right now. Too much to cover there, but just take a look at those legal sports betting apps. FanDuel, now William Hill in Tennessee, DraftKings and MGM, and you'll see those matchups and those lines. There's lots of games going. Even the NIT starts out this weekend. We will now move down to the final leg of this bracket and talk about the Midwest, where the number 1 seed, Fighting Illini, who just looked like world beaters in that Big Ten tournament. They're laying 22 against Drexel. What about these Illini?
Well, they're my team. I picked them to win it all, so obviously I think they're going to win the game. 22 is just a lot. I mean, I don't know about the 22. I don't know that I'll play this particular game, but I do like them to win.
You remember Sister Mary in Loyola, Chicago a couple years ago?
Yeah, she's back again this year. She will be there at the game, is what I've heard.
They're going to mask her up and put Sister Mary out there?
And they're masking her up, and she will be there, is what I understand.
Well, can the Sister Mary Magic hold up 24-4 to Loyola, Chicago, the 8th seed, facing Georgia Tech, fresh off an ACC tournament victory? Albeit Duke and North Carolina bowed out of the tournament due to COVID, so maybe it has an asterisk. But they did win the ACC tournament at 17-8 on the year. Loyola, 5.5-point favorite. Sister Mary time?
Sure, I could ride with that one. I mean, I could take either way on that one. I'm not really a strong pick on either, but yeah, I could ride with Sister Mary. Yeah.
No, Sister Mary can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. No way, man. This time they go out in the first round.
Wow.
I don't know. No, Loyola Chicago's good. In fact, they're probably as good as that team that went to the Final Four for Sister Mary a couple of years ago. So Loyola Chicago, 24-4 on the season against a Georgia Tech team that had a big win and won the ACC. I don't know. I think I'd take the points for Georgia Tech still. Here's a good one. Tennessee, the Tennessee Volunteers. Hey, Rocky Top. You a Rocky Top fan?
Yeah, you got to pull for Tennessee. I live in Tennessee, so sure.
He's a Memphis Tiger, but he pulls for Rocky Top.
I'm an SEC person. I don't like anybody in the South.
All right, good enough. So Oregon State, they weren't in the tournament at all. They were not going to be in the tournament. They run the table, win the Pac-12. In fact, they really played great out of nowhere. Win 5 games in the Pac-12 tournament, I think it was. They had to win 5 games to win the tournament, so they ended up 7. They were 12-12 going into the tournament. They're 17-12 on the season. Tennessee 18-8. Tennessee had Alabama and couldn't close the deal the other day. In the SEC tournament, Alabama again, so much fight. They're so tough. They fight. You better beat Alabama twice because the first time ain't good enough. So Tennessee's an 8-point favorite over Oregon State. I love Tennessee to win the game. Is 8 too many?
I'm right there with you. I like Tennessee to win the game. I'm just not sure if 8 is too many or not.
All right, so the Tennessee laying 8. I'm going to lean toward Tennessee minus the 8 and hope that they can put that good half-court defense and slow down this quick Oregon State team. I'll tell you what, what's the guy's name? The redhead that played for the NBA guy that played for the Celtics, Bill Walton.
Well, yeah.
I tried to watch that championship game of the Pac-12 tournament, and Bill Walton, it's like he ate mushrooms or something before he comes on. The stuff he talks about.
It's great. Smart guy, really smart guy, and a good
he
talker.
Thinks he's a smart guy. There's no question about that.
But yeah, just some of the stuff, it's kind of hard sometimes.
It's like green eggs and ham trying to watch a basketball game. He's talking about all this awful.
He's talking about the
stuff.
surfboard he had in 5th grade.
Crazy stuff. He seems like an old hippie that not a basketball.
Definitely
player.
an old hippie.
Anyway, I tried to watch that Pac-12 game, but I had to mute it after a while. Bill Walton was too much for me. All right, Oklahoma State faces Liberty. Liberty 23-5 on the year. Oklahoma State 20-8. Oklahoma State rode into the championship game of the Big 12. It's one of the hottest teams in the country. Lost a close one to Texas. Finished runner-up in the Big 12 tournament. Oklahoma State laying 7.5.
I'm going to take Liberty here. I'm just going to say maybe it was just Liberty's year. They did really well in football. I'm going to say maybe it's their year in basketball. I'm going to take them to win this first one. I think I played a few different brackets. I think I took Liberty once, and I think I took Oklahoma State once. But I do like Liberty with the points. I'm not certain they win. I'll take them to cover though.
All right, Nall or Nuthin is brought to you by PureIsGood.com. PureIsGood.com and Cleveland Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. San Diego State and Syracuse. San Diego State last year, they were undefeated deep into the season, ended up losing one game. They were going to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, most likely, even possibly a 1 seed if things went right in the conference tournaments for them. Of course, we know the conference tournaments never finished, and the NCAA tournament never happened last year. And that great San Diego State team moved on. A few players gone, most players back. This team's 23-4 on the year. Maybe a real sleeper out there. Not much talk about San Diego State this year. They play Syracuse 16-9. San Diego State laying 3. I'm apt to fade that ACC. I don't think they're that great this year. Give me San Diego State -3.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll play the game. I think on my brackets, that's another one. I took one on one and one on the other. So I could go either way on that one. That's not really a play for me.
So why I'm still on these Mountaineers, I really can't tell you. They're 18-9 on the season. They've really been ranked highly all year long, even though their record maybe hasn't warranted it. They're playing Morehead State. Morehead State knocked off Belmont in their conference championship to make the big dance. West Virginia's a 3 seed, laying 13. I've got them going all the way to the Final Four. I think they've really underachieved thus far in the season, but I'm hoping they flip a switch and they're able to run the gauntlet here and knock off Illinois at some point and make it to the Final Four. But it starts with Morehead State laying the 13. I'll take them. Give me West Virginia.
Me too. I got West Virginia going pretty deep myself, so I definitely like them in this first one.
Yeah, this is a team. It's a little bit of a different Huggins team. They're decent defensively, but he's known for those good defensive teams. They're decent. They're not great defensively, but it's the best offensive team he's ever had, and that's kind of why I thought they would be good this year, because of, the traditional West Virginia defense. Couple that with some good offense, but it just seems like when your offense gets better, your defense goes down. I don't know why it always works out that way, but it does in football and everything else. Look at the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Chiefs could score all day long, and they had to because their defense gave up points. You never seem to get both of them. Anyway, West Virginia's got a powerful offense. I like them laying the 13. Here's a great matchup: Rutgers versus Clemson. I love Rutgers. One of my favorite bets of the entire tournament. They're laying 1.5. Maybe take them on the money line where they just have to win the game, but I don't care. Take them minus the 1.5. I think they're going to beat Clemson by more than a touchdown. I like the Scarlet Knights. They had a good season. They're feeling positive about themselves while Clemson stumbles into the bracket here. Rutgers 1.5. What do you think about that one?
Well, it's another one that probably won't play, and I don't really have much of opinion on. But if it makes any difference for my bracket, I did take Clemson, so I just got them for one game. Either team, I would just have for one game. I wouldn't put either one of them past Houston, but I did take Clemson.
So Houston rounds out this part of the bracket. They're a 2 seed. They're playing Cleveland State. Houston 24-3 on the year. Won some close games down the stretch. Beat your Memphis Tigers what, 3 times in the last 2 weeks? Or
I know they beat them twice.
yeah, maybe twice.
I
Once
think
on
the one
the
game
half
got
court
canceled.
shot. And,
Yeah, they were both in the last week. Yeah,
Okay.
Tigers were in both of them, and the Tigers tied it up with the last second shot, and then with nothing left on the clock, Houston won it. So yeah, it's
you
bad
go.
beat for them both times.
So Houston's laying 20. I don't know about that. I'm sure they'll win the game and move on. I don't think Clemson can give them a game, but I think those Rutgers Scarlet Knights, if they can beat Clemson, I think they might can give Houston a game in the second round, which would be interesting there because you'd be in a situation where you'd be getting a lot of points with Rutgers. And I'd like to have that play out where I could get on Rutgers in that second round game. So that wraps it up. We've talked through the 4 segments of the NCAA tournament. The West with the number 1 seed Gonzaga. The South with the number 1 seed Baylor. The East, number 1 seed of Michigan. And the Midwest with, I think, the best number 1 seed Illinois, arguably, because Gonzaga is 26-0. We'll find out just how good Gonzaga is, but we may not find out how good they are to the Final Four. They've got a pretty clean path. You think there's teams out there, maybe Iowa, that could knock off Gonzaga?
I definitely give Iowa a shot, and I'm going to take maybe Virginia. Maybe Virginia puts some of that defense on them and really just shuts them down. That's what I'm hoping. That's the team I got to stop them. So I'm just going to hope Virginia maybe pulls out some of those awesome defensive games that they have in the past, and really put a hurting on Gonzaga's offensive performance and beats them.
So Michigan at 20-4 with the key injury, probably looks like maybe the most vulnerable number 1 seed. They'll have to face either a tough LSU or a tough St. Bonaventure squad in the second round. And so Michigan, it's how well they can deal, how deep are they, and with a big chunk of scoring out with injury, who's going to step up for them as the number 1 seed. Baylor, they cruised and through the first half of the season. They had a COVID break. I had 2 COVID breaks during the season. They came back from the second one a little sluggish, and really have been very inconsistent in their last 5 or 6 games. I wouldn't be shocked if North Carolina can knock off Wisconsin. Watch out! North Carolina's got the players. What do they put together for one game?
Oh, they did when they got a good run going in the middle of the season this year.
Well, they beat Duke like a drum, and then Duke had won 2 games in the ACC tournament. Looked good before they bowed out due to COVID. So look for a possible, a tough game for Baylor there early on with that second round game between the winner of North Carolina and Wisconsin. And then Illinois, the number 1 seed in the Midwest. Unless you thought maybe Tennessee or Oklahoma State, whoever could come out of that game, could give them trouble. It looks like they're pretty clean all the way down to when they face possibly West Virginia or Houston.
Yeah, and I don't really like Houston to go for it, so that's why I took Illinois all the way. I think they got the easiest path, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will wrap up our NCAA preview show. Big Daddy C and myself got to get some rest. We'll be sure to tell you next week about all the happenings. We're just getting here, man. You caught us on the front end of our Vegas trip. I'll be here through Monday. I think Big Daddy C's going back on Sunday. So we'll be here for all the action from the opening round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And we'll give you a full, detailed report. Wait a minute, no. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Is that still true?
Yeah.
We'll give you the cliff notes. We'll give you the highlights next week.
Highlights, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's give them a pick here. An opening round pick, you got one game that jumps out to you?
Well, my one game I'm going to take is on Georgetown. I really like Georgetown that first round.
All right, at Big Daddy C 1000's deadbolt lock of the week opening round game. Take Georgetown. Take the 5.5. Take the Hoyas against Colorado. And I'm going to stay against Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's soft. I think that they are lacking the toughness that a normal Wisconsin team might have And I know that they're out of that tough Big 12, but give me North Carolina. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with North Carolina and say that they knock off Wisconsin and cover that 1.5 point spread. So that is our pureisgood.com steamer play of the week. North Carolina Tar Heels laying 1.5 against the Wisconsin Badgers. All right, that'll do it. That's a wrap for Big Daddy C. I am Jason Nall. You've been listening to Nall or Nothing on 101.3 The Buzz. And I tell you what, from the Strip and Las Vegas, Nevada, we are out of here.